The Silent Journey of the Salmon King. Deep beneath the glacial rivers of the north, where the water flowed with the ancient memory of ice and stone, lived the Salmon King. He was not a king of men, nor of land, but of the silent, shimmering world beneath the surface. His scales, the color of polished bronze, caught the faintest light, and his eyes, deep and knowing, held the wisdom of countless currents. He was a mythical being, older than the oldest fir trees that line the riverbanks, a guardian of the water's purest essence. Each year, as the sun began its slow tilt towards the long northern winter, a profound and ancient call stirred within him, the call to journey upstream, to the pristine, hidden spawning grounds where his kind had returned for millennia. This was not a journey of conquest or adventure, but a pilgrimage of profound purpose, a silent, arduous undertaking dictated by the very pulse of life itself. It began in the vast, cold embrace of the North Sea, a place of endless depths and rhythmic tides. The Salmon King, known as Lax by the ancient river spirits, would first feel the subtle shift in the ocean currents, a faint, sweet scent of fresh water carried on the deep, cold flows. This was his signal, the invisible thread pulling him homeward. His departure from the sea was a silent, graceful act. He would glide through the deep, dark water, his powerful tail propelling him with an effortless ease that belied the immense distance he was about to cover. The ocean, usually a realm of vast, echoing silence, seemed to hold its breath as he began his ascent towards the river mouth. Other marine creatures, the wise old cod, the shimmering herring schools, the patient, bottom-dwelling flatfish, would sense his passing, a ripple of ancient respect spreading through the watery realm. They knew the Salmon King's purpose, understood the sacredness of his journey. As he neared the river's estuary, the water began to lighten, the salt giving way to the crisp, clean taste of fresh glacial melt. The sounds changed too. The deep roar of the ocean faded, replaced by the gentle murmur of the river, a constant, soothing lullaby. Here, at the threshold, the river spirits would greet him, their presence a subtle shimmer in the water, a faint, cool current that brushed against his scales. They were ancient, benevolent beings, guardians of the river's purity, and they recognized the Salmon King as one of their own, a vital part of the river's living soul. His journey upstream was a meditative dance against the current. He moved with an unhurried grace, his body a testament to strength and endurance. The riverbed, a mosaic of smooth, ancient stones and shifting gravel, passed beneath him in a slow, hypnotic blur. Sunlight, dappled and diffused, filtered through the surface, illuminating schools of smaller fish that darted away from his imposing presence, their movements like fleeting thoughts. The river itself was a living entity, a network of gentle currents and quiet eddies. Lax knew every bend, every submerged log, every hidden crevice. He had traveled this path countless times, each journey etching its details deeper into his ancient memory. He was not just swimming, he was remembering, reliving the silent wisdom of his ancestors who had made this same pilgrimage for eons. His first encounter along the journey was often with the watchful otter. This sleek, agile creature, with its dark, glistening fur and bright, intelligent eyes, would often perch on a smooth river stone, observing Lax's passage with a quiet curiosity. The otter was a master of its watery domain, a creature of playful grace and silent efficiency. Lax would feel the subtle vibrations of its presence, a ripple of awareness in the water, but there was no fear, no aggression, only a shared understanding of their place in the river's delicate balance. The otter, in turn, would feel the profound purpose emanating from the Salmon King, a silent reverence passing between predator and prey, a testament to the interconnectedness of all life in the river. Further upstream, where the river narrowed and the water grew clearer, Lax would sometimes encounter the patient heron. This majestic bird, with its long, slender legs and piercing gaze, would stand motionless in the shallows, a statue of quiet contemplation. Its stillness was absolute, a profound silence that seemed to absorb all sound. Lax would glide beneath its shadow, feeling the subtle shift in the light, and the heron would remain unmoving, its ancient wisdom evident in its unwavering patience. It was a silent acknowledgement, a shared moment of stillness between two beings deeply attuned to the river's rhythm. The heron, too, understood the sacred journey, the vital role of the Salmon King in the river's eternal cycle. The riverbed itself was a repository of quiet wisdom. Lax would often brush against the ancient river stones, smooth and rounded by millennia of flowing water. These stones, silent witnesses to countless journeys, held the memories of floods and droughts, of the sun's warmth and the ice's grip. They radiated a grounding energy, a profound sense of stability and endurance. As Lax passed, he would feel their silent strength, a comforting presence that reminded him of the timelessness of his purpose. He was not just a creature of the present, he was a living link to the river's ancient past. As he journeyed deeper into the mountains, the river began to change. The currents grew stronger, the water colder, infused with the pure melt of ancient glaciers. The sounds of the forest grew more distant, replaced by the gentle roar of small waterfalls and the soft murmur of the wind through the high pines. The air above the water was crisp and clean, carrying the scent of pine needles and damp earth. Lax's body, honed by years of these silent pilgrimages, adapted effortlessly to the increasing demands of the journey. His muscles, powerful and resilient, propelled him forward with an unwavering determination. There was no struggle in his movements, only a profound acceptance of the arduous path. He was not fighting the river, he was flowing with it, a part of its relentless, life-giving current. His perseverance was not born of defiance, but of a deep, instinctual knowing, an ancient wisdom embedded in his very being. He would rest in the quiet eddies behind large boulders, his body motionless, his gills slowly fanning the cool, oxygen-rich water. In these moments of stillness, he would feel the subtle vibrations of the riverbed, the faint hum of the earth, and the distant calls of unseen creatures. These were moments of profound peace, of quiet reflection, where the purpose of his journey resonated deeply within him. He was a living embodiment of the natural cycle, a vital link in the chain of life that bound the mountains to the sea. As he neared the spawning grounds, the river became a series of gentle cascades and clear, shallow pools. The water was so pure it seemed to shimmer with an inner light. The air was filled with the faint scent of decaying leaves and the crispness of the high altitudes. Here, the river spirits were strongest, their presence a palpable sense of peace and anticipation. Finally, after weeks of silent, unwavering travel, Lax reached the spawning grounds. It was a secluded, pristine area, a mosaic of smooth, clean gravel and clear, bubbling springs. Other salmon, drawn by the same ancient call, were already there, their bronze scales glinting in the filtered sunlight. There was no fanfare, no grand ceremony. Only a profound sense of homecoming, a quiet culmination of a life's singular purpose. Here, in the tranquil depths of the spawning grounds, Lax fulfilled his ancient destiny. He moved with a quiet grace, his body releasing the life force that would ensure the continuation of his kind. It was a moment of profound peace, of complete surrender to the natural cycle. His purpose was fulfilled, his journey complete. As his life force slowly ebbed, Lax did not feel fear or sorrow, only a deep, pervasive calm. He had honored his ancient purpose, contributed to the eternal cycle of life, and now it was time for his own quiet return. His body, now still, became a part of the riverbed, nourishing the very waters that had carried him. His scales, once shimmering bronze, began to fade, blending with the colors of the stones. But the essence of the Salmon King, his ancient wisdom and his profound peace, did not vanish. It permeated the water, becoming a part of the river's living memory. The river spirits absorbed his essence, carrying his story in their currents, whispering it to the ancient stones and the patient trees. The newly laid eggs, nestled safely in the gravel, would absorb his legacy, carrying within them the instinct for the silent journey, the perseverance against the current, and the profound peace found in fulfilling one's ancient purpose. They were the future, the continuation of the eternal cycle. And so, the Salmon King, Lax, completed his silent journey. His life was a testament to the quiet power of nature, to the unwavering rhythm of life and death, and to the profound peace found in living in harmony with the ancient pulse of the world. The river continued to flow, carrying his story in its currents, a timeless lullaby of perseverance and purpose, lulling the land and all its creatures into a deep, restorative sleep. The river, now carrying the essence of the departed Salmon King, continued its unhurried flow, a timeless ribbon winding through the vast northern landscape. Its journey was a mirror to Lax, a constant, silent movement from the mountains to the sea and back again through the cycle of evaporation and rain. The water carried not just the physical remnants of the land, but its very spirit, its ancient memories, its profound tranquility. In the quiet pools where Lax had rested, the water seemed to hold a deeper stillness, a more profound clarity. The sunlight, filtering through the surface, danced on the smooth stones, illuminating the delicate ecosystem that thrived beneath. Tiny insect larvae clung to the undersides of rocks, their movements almost imperceptible. Small, silvery fish darted through the currents, their scales glinting like scattered jewels. Each creature, each plant, was a part of the river's intricate tapestry, living in harmony with its gentle flow. The trees that lined the riverbanks, ancient firs and birches, stood as silent sentinels. Their roots, reaching deep into the earth, drank from the river's life-giving waters, and their branches whispered secrets to the passing winds. They had witnessed countless journeys of the Salmon King, their leaves rustling with ancient understanding. They knew that life was a continuous cycle, a perpetual dance of growth and decay, of journey and return. Their presence, stoic and enduring, added to the profound peace that permeated the river valley. As the days shortened and the air grew crisp, a new generation of salmon began to stir within their gravel nests. They were tiny, vulnerable, yet within them pulsed the same ancient instinct that had guided Lax. They would spend their early lives in the tranquil nursery of the spawning grounds, feeding on microscopic organisms, growing stronger with each passing day. The river's gentle currents would rock them, a natural lullaby, preparing them for the vast journey that lay ahead. The river spirits, unseen but ever-present, watched over the young salmon. Their presence was a cool, protective current, guiding the fry away from danger, leading them to the richest feeding grounds. They were the silent guardians of the river's future, ensuring that the ancient cycle would continue unbroken. When the young salmon were strong enough, a new call would stir within them, the call to the sea. This downstream journey was different from the upstream pilgrimage, a surrender to the river's current, a gentle descent towards the vast unknown. They would drift with the flow, their small bodies carried by the water's embrace, their instincts guiding them towards the boundless ocean. This downstream journey was a lesson in letting go, in trusting the flow of life. They would pass the same ancient stones, the same watchful otters, the same patient herons that Lax had encountered on his ascent. The river, in its wisdom, would carry them safely, preparing them for the immense expanse of the sea. And when they finally reached the ocean, they would find themselves in a world of unimaginable vastness. They would grow, feeding on the ocean's bounty, their scales growing stronger, their bodies honing for the eventual return journey. They would carry within them the memory of the river, the quiet wisdom of its depths, and the profound purpose that pulsed in their very being. The story of the Salmon King, Lax, became a quiet legend among the creatures of the North. The otters would tell it to their young through silent gestures and playful dives. The herons would carry it in their unwavering gaze, their stillness a testament to its enduring truth. The ancient trees would whisper it to the winds, and the winds would carry it across the land, a gentle reminder of the natural cycle of life. Even the human inhabitants of the northern lands, the Viking folk who lived by the rivers and fjords, felt the subtle influence of the Salmon King's journey. Though they might not know his name or his mythical nature, they understood the vital importance of the salmon run. They revered the river, respected its bounty, and lived in harmony with its rhythms. Their fishing practices were guided by an unspoken understanding of the salmon's sacred purpose, ensuring that enough would always return to spawn, to continue the ancient cycle. On quiet nights, when the aurora danced above the snow-covered peaks, and the longhouses were filled with the gentle crackle of hearth fires, the elders would tell stories of the river. They would speak of the salmon's unwavering journey, of its quiet strength, and of the profound peace found in fulfilling one's destiny. These stories, passed down through generations, were not tales of grand battles or heroic deeds, but of the quiet heroism of nature, of the enduring wisdom of the earth. The children of the village would listen, their eyes wide with wonder, their minds absorbing the calming rhythm of the narrative. They would dream of shimmering fish swimming upstream, of clear, cold water, and of the silent, ancient pulse of the river. These dreams would fill them with a sense of peace, a deep connection to the land and its creatures, and a quiet understanding of their own place in the grand tapestry of life. The river itself was a constant presence, a living lullaby in the heart of the North. Its gentle murmur was a soothing sound, reminder of the continuous flow of time, of the endless cycles of nature. It flowed over the smooth, ancient stones, past the whispering fir trees, and through the quiet valleys, carrying its wisdom to the sea. Lax, the Salmon King, had become one with the river, his essence woven into its very currents. His silent journey was not just a memory, but a living truth, a constant reminder of perseverance, purpose, and the profound peace found in fulfilling one's role in the grand design of the natural world. And as the river flowed, so too did the quiet peace that emanated from his ancient purpose, lulling the land and all its creatures into a deep, restorative sleep, a timeless symphony of life and harmony. The whispers of the river were eternal, carrying the story of the Salmon King for all time. The sun, a benevolent eye in the northern sky, continued its slow arc, warming the glacial waters, encouraging the growth of plankton and the myriad of life forms that sustained the river's ecosystem. The air, crisp and clean, carried the scent of pine and the distant tang of the sea, a constant reminder of the interconnectedness of the land and the ocean. Even the rocks, ancient and unmoving, seemed to hum with the quiet energy of the river's flow, their surfaces smoothed by millennia of water's gentle caress. The cycle of life in the river was a delicate balance, a symphony of quiet interactions. The small, silvery fish that had darted away from Lax's imposing presence now fed on the insect larvae, their movements precise and efficient. The otters, playful and curious, would dive into the deeper pools, their sleek bodies gliding effortlessly through the water, their senses keenly attuned to the subtle movements of their prey. Yet, even in their hunting, there was a sense of harmony, a natural rhythm that ensured the continuation of all species. The patient herons would stand motionless in the shallows, their long necks poised, their eyes scanning the water with an unwavering focus. Their stillness was a meditation, a profound connection to the present moment. When they struck, it was with a swift, decisive movement, a testament to their mastery of their environment. But they took only what they needed, respecting the river's bounty, understanding their place in its delicate balance. The ancient trees along the riverbanks, their roots intertwined with the very earth, provided shelter and sustenance. Their fallen leaves nourished the riverbed, providing food for the smaller creatures. Their branches offered nesting sites for birds, their sturdy trunks a home for squirrels and other forest dwellers. They stood as silent guardians, their wisdom etched into their bark, their presence a calming force in the landscape. As the seasons shifted, the river would change its mood. In spring, it would swell with the meltwaters from the glaciers, its current stronger, its voice a more powerful murmur. In summer, it would flow with a gentle ease, its surface shimmering under the perpetual daylight. In autumn, it would carry the vibrant colors of fallen leaves, a golden tapestry drifting towards the sea. And in winter, it would slow its pace, its surface sometimes freezing over a silent, crystalline pathway beneath the snow. But through all these changes, the river's essence remained constant, its purpose unwavering. The human inhabitants of Bjornheim, the Viking village nestled in the valley, continued their lives in harmony with the river. They fished its waters, drew its pure water for drinking, and used its currents to power their small mills. They understood that the river was not just a resource, but a living entity, a sacred presence that sustained their lives. Their reverence for the river was woven into their daily rituals, their songs, and their stories. The elders, especially, held a deep respect for the river's ancient wisdom. They would often sit by its banks, their eyes closed, listening to its ceaseless flow, feeling its subtle vibrations. They believed that the river carried the memories of all who had lived by its shores, all who had drunk from its waters, and all who had journeyed upon its surface. It was a living library of time, its whispers a constant source of guidance and comfort. On quiet evenings, when the village settled into its nightly slumber, the gentle murmur of the river would become the dominant sound, a soothing lullaby that permeated the longhouses. It would mingle with the soft crackle of the hearth fires and the distant hoot of an owl, creating a symphony of natural sounds that invited deep, restorative sleep. Dreams would be filled with images of flowing water, of shimmering fish, of green riverbanks, bringing a sense of peace and connection to the natural world. The story of Lax, the Salmon King, though a myth, was a living truth in the hearts of the people. It reminded them of the importance of purpose, of perseverance, and of the profound peace found in fulfilling one's role in the grand cycle of life. It taught them to respect the natural world, to live in harmony with its rhythms, and to understand that even the smallest creature had a vital part to play in the intricate tapestry of existence. And so, the river flowed, a timeless ribbon of water, carrying the essence of the Salmon King, Lax, in its currents. His silent journey was not just a memory, but a living truth, a constant reminder of perseverance, purpose, and the profound peace found in fulfilling one's role in the grand design of the natural world. And as the river flowed, so too did the quiet peace that emanated from his ancient purpose, lulling the land and all its creatures into a deep, restorative sleep, a timeless symphony of life and harmony. The whispers of the river were eternal, carrying the story of the Salmon King for all time, a gentle, unending narrative of the North. The deep pools, where the current slowed and the sunlight struggled to penetrate, became sanctuaries of profound stillness. Here, the water was colder, denser, holding the secrets of the river's deepest wisdom. Lax, in his essence, was now part of this stillness, a silent guardian of the river's most ancient memories. Divers, if they were brave enough to venture into these depths, would feel a subtle shift in the water's energy, a profound calm that settled over them, quieting their minds and soothing their spirits. It was as if the river itself was breathing, a slow, deliberate inhale and exhale that resonated with the very pulse of the earth. The river's journey was not just a physical one, it was a spiritual pilgrimage, a continuous act of purification and renewal. As it flowed from the pristine glacial peaks, it gathered the essence of the mountains, the strength of the granite, the clarity of the ice, the resilience of the hardy alpine flora. It carried these qualities downstream, sharing them with the forests, the meadows, and eventually the vast ocean. Each drop of water held a story, a fragment of the river's ancient journey, a whisper of its timeless wisdom. The sounds of the river were a constant symphony of peace. The gentle gurgle of water over smooth stones, the soft splash of a fish breaking the surface, the distant murmur of a waterfall, these were the notes of its melody. Even the occasional roar of a more powerful cascade was quickly absorbed by the vastness of the landscape, softening into a soothing background hum. For those who learned to truly listen, the river's song was a profound lullaby, a meditation on the continuous flow of life. The creatures of the river, from the smallest insect larva to the largest elk that came to drink from its banks, lived in perfect harmony with its rhythms. The kingfishers, flashes of brilliant blue, would perch on overhanging branches, their sharp eyes scanning the water for prey, their movements swift and precise. The beavers, industrious and patient, would build their dams, shaping the river's flow in subtle ways, creating new pools and eddies that added to its intricate tapestry. Even the bears, powerful and majestic, would come to the river to fish, their presence a reminder of the wild, untamed beauty of the northern lands. Yet, all existed in a delicate balance, a silent agreement to respect the river's bounty and its ancient wisdom. The human settlements along the river, though small and scattered, were deeply connected to its life force. The longhouses, built from the timber of the surrounding forests, faced the river, their windows offering views of its ceaseless flow. The villagers relied on the river for sustenance, for transport, and for a profound sense of connection to the natural world. Their lives were intertwined with its rhythms, their calendars marked by the salmon run, the freezing of the ice, and the spring thaw. Their celebrations often took place by the river, their songs echoing its gentle murmur, their gratitude flowing like its currents. The children of Bjornheim, especially, were taught from a young age to respect the river. They would spend hours by its banks, skipping stones, watching the fish, and listening to its murmurs. They learned to feel the subtle changes in its currents, to understand its moods, and to appreciate its profound generosity. The river was their playground, their teacher, and their silent companion. They would fall asleep to its soothing sounds, their dreams filled with images of shimmering fish and flowing water, carrying the ancient wisdom of the Salmon King. As the generations passed, the story of Lax, the Salmon King, became more than just a myth. It became a living truth, a guiding principle for the people of the North. It taught them patience, perseverance, and the importance of fulfilling one's purpose, no matter how arduous the journey. It reminded them that, even in the face of immense challenges, there was a profound peace to be found in embracing the natural flow of life, in trusting the ancient rhythms of the world, and in understanding that true strength lay in harmony, not in conflict. The river, in its endless journey, continued to carry Lax's essence, his quiet wisdom permeating every drop of water. It flowed from the pristine glacial sources, through the ancient forests, past the quiet villages, and eventually into the vast, welcoming embrace of the North Sea. And from the sea, a new generation of salmon would eventually hear the ancient call, beginning their own silent, arduous pilgrimage upstream, guided by the enduring legacy of the Salmon King, ensuring that the cycle of life, of purpose, and of profound peace would continue for all time. The river's lullaby was eternal, a soothing murmur that cradled the land and all its creatures in a deep, restorative sleep, a timeless symphony of harmony and belonging. The whispers of the river were the whispers of eternity, carrying the silent journey of the Salmon King forever onward, a gentle, unending narrative of the North, a perpetual lullaby for a world in slumber, a testament to the enduring peace found in the heart of nature.